questions from each group. I think we're going to have to start with Paula's group because
I shall burst.
So enthusiastic.
We've got, yes, this is one question that's on all of our minds. Have you got an idea of where would we go?
Right, okay, so for the benefit of the tape, the question was, have we got any idea where we would go when the building's being
I have
built?
an answer to that one. It actually is quite an exciting answer, this, because you may remember about 20 or 25 years ago, we had a retaining wall built out the back there and a number of extensions and things done out the back, and we had to move out the building for 6 weeks. Do you remember that? Who remembers moving out the building for 6 weeks? Right, so probably just me. But we did. We did it. It's very early on, just after I became lead here. We had to move out for 6 weeks, something that Pete Rowe was, it was his fault. But he got this work done. We actually moved for 6 weeks up to Summerfields Primary School, where we met together. And that was actually a really important time for the church, because we learnt new things about what it meant to be church together, and it was a time of growth for us. So I've actually got no problems about moving out, because I know that there are places that would welcome us, and I'm confident, I've seen that it can be a positive time for a church to do that. Also, there's more imaginative, creative opportunities that if it's a summer, we might be able to meet in a big bake-off marquee on the green. And things like that. So there's lots of interesting things we could do. And also in the summer, we spend a lot of time outdoors. So depending on when it is, I would actually be quite excited if we had to spend a bit of time out of this building. I think for us as a church...
You're talking for too long.
Sorry.
Thank you. In brief, I think likely to be a local community venue, maybe a school or something like that nearby. I think nearby is important.
Nearby, yeah.
But also potentially trying to use the green and things like that as much as possible so we maintain a physical presence here. But I think we don't know entirely at this stage is probably the answer. Right, I'm going to go around the rest of the groups in order. So this group down here.
I was related to that.
Well, you'll have to wait.
He's in trouble.
The church meetings that we have and the community that use church, would they be able to go wherever we're going, and would they come back to?
So would the other community users be able to go wherever we go? Like Food Bank. I think Food Bank would be a really important part of any consideration of a kind of an interim plan, and we would need to look at somewhere that was suitable for Food Bank to work from, with a view to them then coming back here afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And Food Bank is an integral part of us as a church here, so we would always come back to here afterwards. But also, there are loads of churches in Newport which would love to have a go at running Food Bank. It's just we got in there first. And so it'd be all right for a short period of time. And also, I was thinking about something to do with Food Bank, and I've got to remember it now. I can't remember what it was. No, that's it. Food Bank is part of a Revive Newport project with Church on the Roundabout anyway. So it goes beyond just us as a church here. It's actually a Newport Churches Revive type project. It just happens to be located here, and we happen to be the mainstay of doing that. So again, there would be other places to go, but it would definitely need to come back here because it's become such an integral part of who we are and what we do.
Okay, group at the back.
We'll save that one for the end, because that was just not sensible.
I want to hear it now.
Yeah, it's still not sensible at all, really, is it? Okay, all right then. This is a bit of a twofold question, really, because the second part of it all depends on the answer to this one. Will the youth have their own room?
So the final building's not designed. So those sorts of things can actually come into the design process. But the idea is that there should be in this new build multiple flexible spaces which will enable different things to happen. And that's one of the constraints of the current building, is that both on a Sunday and during the week, there's a limit to the number of things we can do because of the limited number of rooms and the way they interact with each other. So I suppose yes is probably the answer.
So we got a yes.
Because we're going to actually, just adding to that, we're going to have twice as much, the idea is we'd have twice as much ground floor space. That's the plan, and some upstairs space as well. So there should be, the idea is there's going to be room for everything we want to do, especially youth.
Did you hear that? There's room for everything you want to do. Right, okay. We hold
What did I just promise?
the second part of this question. If so, could the youth please have a secret door of getting in there that's no longer secret because no one will know about it now? / swimming pool. and or whatever seems fit, a fireman pole to go into the youth room from upstairs.
That's quite close, actually.
Sounds good to me. I think it's really important that if we go forward with this, that people are involved in the design process, and that the input, whether it's firemen's poles or whether it's baby changing facilities or whatever it is, comes in, because different people have got different ideas about how to use the building in the future, and so it's really important that some of those ideas come in. Not necessarily all of them will be able to be delivered. Okay, the other group in the back, the slightly older group.
Oh.
I'm going to ask a second question, which is what new facilities provision for homeless people will there be? So things like, will there be like washing, drying machines, showers, etc. Possibly even provision for a shelter during the winter.
Shelter, because obviously the council are not doing much, are they?
No. Right, just for the sake of the video, the question is what facilities are there going to be here for homeless people, or what facilities could there be? And the answer to that, I think, is what you said before, Martin. The whole design process is going to be a collective process. So if we go ahead and design a building, then we want as much input as we can get from as many people as we can get to meet as many needs as possible. So if that's one of the needs that people believe we should be meeting, we've got to look into that. And we've got to put that's got to be on the table. And we haven't designed anything yet.
Some of these things have come up in terms of showers and washing facilities particularly, but it's a case of looking at what our particular strengths are as a church and as a part of our community, and ensuring that the building will help us continue to play to those strengths going forwards and to build on those things. Okay, bottom corner group. Once the money's in place, how long do we anticipate the build will take?
Right, have you got a piece of string?
Realistically, probably about a year, I would have thought. But it will depend a lot on the building techniques used and various other things. Go on, Paul. Paul's probably got a better.
The normal process is when you
Through the mic, Paul, because
the normal process when you look at building a building is obviously you need to get a contractor on board to give you a price, and you can do that in a variety of ways. But part of that pricing mechanism, that makeup, is the contract period. And you, as a client, can specify that. You've got to be realistic, but that will depend on how much you pay. So, say for instance, you're Marks and Spencer's and you want a new shop built, and you want it built quickly. You're going to say, I want this building built in 3 months, but you'll pay a premium for that. If you're prepared to wait 6 months to have the building done, then obviously the cost comes down. And it is very, very dependent on what the market is at the time too. You know, if you're going through a lean time and there's lots of building workers available, then generally speaking you get a building built a lot quicker. if you're going through a time where there's hardly any resource at all, you know all this age, you don't, you know, it's going to be relevant to that. But I mean, I would put at a guess, a good 12 months I would have thought for a building on here, because of just what I shared with you earlier, the very nature of this site, the restricted access and the restrictedness of the site means that a lot of the operations can't be done, they have to be done one after the other, can't be done together, if that makes any sense. It's a very, very narrow, confined site. You can imagine just trying to park off of here would be bad enough. You can imagine cement mixers coming in here and, you know, crayons and what have you. It would all add to the time. I know that probably hasn't totally answered your question, but it's not a straightforward build, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Paul. These questions are just the start of it. This is kind of giving us a flavour for the Friday the 11th, where we're going to meet and really ask as many questions as we want and try and find out what our needs are, and invite other people, other possible stakeholders and community people down here as well who've got questions, and just get all the questions, all the needs, just begin to pull them together and see what the needs are and see what the desire is to meet these needs as well. So that's what Friday's going to be about. This is just the start. It's not